So I'm so upset today. I did not actually get a job I had been waiting for. I mean, I wasn't waiting for it. I was surprised that it had turned from a video interview into a phone interview, like a second version of the day before, where I had the previous initial interview. So it was like having two initial interviews, and you're like, okay, well, that's a little bit, you know, I think though, my language started to change. I sort of used a little bit of slang kind of talk. Not like slang, but like talking like little loose, not so, I don't know, and sort of coming across as casual and stuff. And I was like, um, when they were doing the initial interview, I was like, oh, I'm surprised it's going to be turning into the video interview because I knew that they were sort of getting sneaking away from the idea that I would be a good employee or something. So it didn't surprise me that there was some sort of screw up. And then when I had that phone interview, I was like thinking, there's no way I have this position, before I even took the call because it had supposed to have been a video interview. And then they said, and then they called up with the phone, and then the first thing they said was so much to the video interview sort of thing. And I was like thinking, yeah, I know. It's like I was so surprised that they have the phone. And when it sort of repeated, I was like thinking, there's no, there's no way this is going to eventuate into a position. But then at the end of the call, they said, they did seem like they had high hopes that they wanted to put me through a skills test or something. And I was sort of encouraged in a way to think that perhaps they will pursue me as a candidate. Um, but and I was like thinking, oh, maybe I do have this job. Like I didn't really like working in the office, but I was sort of warming. Like if it were my job, I would sort of dedicate myself, try my best. You know, I know it's not my ideal position. My ideal position is just doing everything from home, where I don't have to bother getting up and putting makeup on and catching a train all before 8:30 or whatever. But or whenever it starts, and then spending all day, in a place which doesn't make you feel at home. So it's a big drag, really. But if they did give me the job, I would definitely have at least tried. Like I would have jumped up into real estate and said, "Hey, I need a house. I need to rent anything, right now," sort of thing. I know they don't always do that, but sometimes they do. And I would have prepared myself pretty quickly to get in line, even if it started like Monday. I could have done it, But I know I sort of always think negatively. Like I always am like, oh, this is gonna be so bad because every time I work in the office, it feels like a big long drag, and I'm pushing myself to do a full day or any kind of hours really. It seems like a really bad time, and I'd be like, oh, this is so bad, but I'm trying. But I would definitely have tried, but um, they didn't pursue my application, and I was like, well, that's not a surprise. Like I got the confirmation email today, and I was like, that's not a surprise because I knew like on the initial interview they were like thinking like their thoughts were slipping away from thinking me as a candidate and stuff. And it's because I think of the way I started talking is not really like what they want on their phones or something. But it could have been, they by the second interview they seemed to think that I was working, and I'm like, no, I'm not working. But of course I am. I'm doing a casual work from home position that, is my longest reigning job on my resume. Um, I really, it's making me feel as though I really should put that right at the top of the resume and be like, yeah, I'm planning to do this as well as on the side. But I didn't. So, anyway, it's a no big surprise that they didn't choose me. I was sort of anticipating that they wouldn't choose me, but they gave me an inkling to think that they could have chosen me. If they did, I would have been surprised. because I feel like I've been hitting blank spaces ever since the first interview. But um, I would have been pleasantly surprised actually, and be like, "Ooh, I actually got a job," and but um, yeah, but I wasn't surprised to find out that they were gonna pursue me because they found someone else. So I've got one job left, and I applied for two today. And I was like, does everyone think like I'm just a casual employee? So I applied for two casual roles today. Um, After being like, does it just do it? Because in interviews with permanent positions, they're like having a big deal about me being a casual employee for a very long time. It's like, well, I have, and they're like, oh, why do you want to change? And I was like, I haven't tried my advised answer though. I'm looking for financial stability or something. But yeah. Um. Anyway, jobs suck so much. I'm always on the ins and outs of jobs. But I applied for a couple of casual roles. Maybe they'll pick me up and I'll be able to start work with that. I've only got 1.5 weeks. It's like the second today. I think 2 weeks, 14 days. That's 2 weeks to get myself somewhere. Um, I don't think it's gonna eventuate really. I mean, I could say I'm giving up, but I don't know if I am or not. I mean, I could go for an applying frenzy again. Let's see if that dredges up anything. Um, but I don't know. I'm not very enthusiastic right now. uh, so I applied for a couple of casual positions. If I got them, I'd be like, well, at least I'm starting with you, because you can slide them morning to evening on the flexible roster that they have available. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds good for a good casual role. And then I can look for other work if I want, part-time work or something. But yeah, but it's all slipping and sliding all over the place, and I'm like, um, I would have been pleasantly surprised if I got that position, but I didn't. So I'm hanging on with one other position, which I'm in the candidacy for. I assume that I might do a little bit better on the interview if they do give me a go. I'll be able to say, well, I can able to say more about the company now that I've read their website. um, but I won't know. They said I won't know till this Friday, maybe Thursday, but most likely Friday. And I'm like, well, that's a whole full week. That's one whole week out of my 2 weeks left. So what I might be doing is going out to the country, doing some manual labor for a couple of weeks, and then coming back. I'm not moving my stuff out there because my stuff is just going to be ruined when they have a real storm. They might not have a real storm till for a few months, but. And I kept my most weather-worthy jacket on me, so that's what I'm carrying with me in a bag. I gotta get all my stuff packed. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I sort of had wanted to find a job and then not go out to the sticks, but I kind of do want to go out to the sticks though on a little adventure, but I'm gonna get bored after 2 weeks. It's not very adventurous to be in an unstable area. So I'm sort of running out of time getting my stuff together, and I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna get a job in the future or what, but anyway, I'll just see.